Greetings, everyone. My name is Shauna Brewer. I'm the National Partner Manager for CCH SureTax from Wolters Kluwer. We have an exciting lineup for you today, and we're going to talk about a topic that's near and dear to your heart if you're a telecommunications provider in the telecom space. So without further ado, this topic today is recurring revenue. What are the workflows? How do you automate? What's holding you back? And I'm really excited to introduce our panel to you today. With us today, we have Tim Barton-Wines. Yes, the one, the only, Tim Barton-Wines from Halo, alongside Mark Loveys, from the CEO of Datagate. Datagate is an outstanding biller and SureTax partner in the telecommunications space. I'm so excited to welcome them both to the webinar, to this broadcast today. So this is going to be a panel discussion. We've got some great questions lined up for you, and I'd like to start by asking Mark and then Tim to also introduce themselves. Mark?
Thank you, Shauna. Hi, everyone. I'm Mark Loveys, CEO of Datagate. We are a long-term partner of Wolters Kluwer and HaloPSA, and we serve the MSP, CSP community. Thank you.
Very good. Tim?
Yeah. Hey, peeps. Tim from Halo. One of the two Tims that started the HaloPSA underneath the Halo brand. And yeah, we are the gold standard PSA offering in the market, fastest growing, doubling every year. And yeah, we're doing more in the telecommunications space, right, which brings us here. So yeah, ambition to bring a lot of MSPs into centralized billing, and we have great partners with us to do that, right?
Awesome. Thank you both. Very, very well. Thank you so much. So a couple of questions that we're going to talk about in the MSP space. CCH SureTax in the telecommunications space is considered to be the gold standard. We work with all size of telecom customers, and we're really seeing that groundswell in the MSP space, which makes it such an important focal point for our business. And so wanted to ask some questions around that space. So a lot of MSPs rely on an all-in-one system because they seem simpler, but reoccurring revenue brings reoccurring workflows. What's the final difference? What's the real difference between all-in-one versus best-in-breed when it comes to automating those tasks? Tim, what are your thoughts?
What do I think? So I think it's the conversation around like having a Swiss Army knife versus a scalpel, right? What's the contrast? When you have an all-in-one, typically it will do everything to some degree, a jack of all trades, right? But when you have specific requirements, when you have mature customers who demand stuff, it typically throws you out of whack pretty quickly. So you'll find yourself getting into something because your customer asks of it of you, right? That's what happens with MSPs. They want to be that one-stop shop for a customer, which I've seen in my time. And that might lead you down that sort of telecom route. And then if you're implementing something which is simplistic to start with, it probably won't be the best fit longer term, whichever angle you get into the telecom space. So I guess when the difference is, right, is that you're going to be able to implement something which allows you to have maturity and complexity and fulfill the requirements of the customer, which I think is what happens when you get into more mature tool sets. You just have a more comparable setup. But it's that difference between a jack of all trades, Swiss Army knife, and that sort of scalpel, in my opinion. I'm not sure if you think any different there, Mark.
Yeah, that's right. I think everybody should look at what software they put in, make sure that it's cooperates well in the social network of business applications. It's going to talk and act nicely with other products that they want to use. And if you're trying to do everything with one system, it's a little bit like a monopoly situation there. When you've got apps that are investing heavily in what they do, they're very specialized, like us at Telecom. We're always innovating, always improving, always giving better value for our customers. We work hard at that. If we were an all-in-one solution, if we were trying to reproduce what Halo does, for example, which would be a phenomenal task because Halo does such a good job at what they do, that would make it very difficult for a customer, to ever change anything. What if they didn't like the way we did our invoices, but they love the way, Halo does things? In a more distributed model, best in breed, they can choose the solution that works best for them. But when you buy everything under one umbrella, you get locked in, and you may have to compromise a lot more than you want to. And so, for Datagate, we focus very tightly. We have a saying called "Stay in our lane," and it means we have to be very, very good at what we do. We know that we could be swapped out if we don't. It's a competitive world, but we are very, very competitive, and we work to give an excellent deal for our customers. And I think being part of a best in breed environment is very healthy. Thank you.
Very good. Very good, Mark. And Tim, I definitely appreciate that response. SureTax, that's what we do. We are the tax platform. That's what we're best at. That's what we're extremely good at. And that's why it's so valuable to us to lock arms with other best in breed solutions like Halo and Datagate. Great response. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so it's something just to add in there as well, which has just come to mind, right? Referencing what we're doing here to what typical MSPs do. It's kind of like RMMs and PSAs, right? You get to a certain point, and that's a pretty short point. If you get more than a couple of people in size and have any decent maturity, I think it's pretty well accepted in the MSP space that you need to go and get a separate RMM and a separate PSA, whether it be from the same vendor or not. They are just different technologies. They're specialized. And that's how I would ask MSPs to look at what the telecom space is doing. If you're getting into it or looking to improve what you do, you need to get vendors that are really specialized in that area. Otherwise, you're not going to really get what you want, whether it be less on the telecom side or less on the sort of the PSA operational side. So that just sort of came to mind, right? The idea that you should probably look at this like how you view your RMM. You need to get specialized vendors for telecom, because I don't think there is in 2025, or I can see down in 2026, there being that all-in-one player that actually does what you need it to do. So that was just something I wanted to put out there.
That's great. That's great. Thanks. So anything else on that question, team? Anything else? Let's go to this next one. I think this one is great. MSPs have automated ticketing and monitoring, but many still handle billing and tax manually every month. Why is that? And what's the real cost of doing it the hard way? And if you don't mind, I'll jump in here at the beginning. We know that in the US, in telecommunications tax, it is such a complex world that even Wolters Kluwer, a $6 billion company with SureTax being one of the products that we offer, we understand the complexity in the tax world. So we have 52 CPAs and tax attorneys that is their job, is to research and maintain and make sure that our tax data is always up to date and accurate. And so if you're a team that's trying to manage that yourself along with that billing manually, it quickly creates an opportunity for error. And if you're a growing company, the best time to get it right is at the start, because that way there's no course correction that you have to make in the middle of your travel upwards and to the right. There is no looking in the rearview mirror because things are set correctly right out of the gate. So Mark and Tim, what's your thoughts around that question?
That's a great point, Shauna. Look, MSPs, we know MSPs and CSPs are very hardworking people. They easily get into situations where they're sacrificing time with their families, times doing things that they'd much rather be doing, out fishing or watching sport or whatever. But they get drawn into the business, and there can be so much manual work if they let it go that way. But we, the champions, and I'm speaking for all three of us here, of automation and freeing up time and things like billing. It should be automatic, and that's our philosophy, and our DNA says that we want to automate things, free up time for our hardworking MSPs, and I'd say that would be how to recognize that you need more automation is, hey, this business is taking up all my time, and I'm suffering for it. So therefore, we need solutions like Datagate and Halo and CCH SureTax, automate it. And I just quote one of my customers, my good friend Bob Bascom of Charleston Telecom, and he refers to his configuration, which includes our products, as an automatic money generation machine, and that's how it should feel like. He should not be in there, he should not have to be doing things manually. Thank you. Over to Tim.
Yeah. I think that kind of talks about it, right? I think it's not only just about automating; it's actually you're not exposing yourself to tax liability. You're not having to manually figure stuff out because you're, like for example, in the MSP sort of traditional, managed services space, you'd have an integration with like Microsoft CSP or like a disti to automate Office 365 licenses that you're reselling, right? And if you don't do that, because it's a usage-based thing, same to Telecom, you are spending hours a month or sometimes days a month, depending on what scale you're running at. And that's just something that you don't want to get into. And, in the sort of telecom space, you need to be able to automate that. It's the same scenario elsewhere in your business. If it's a usage-based thing, you need to be able to automate it, because how is you meant to do what you're meant to do if you're having to throw loads of man hours at something every single month? So getting bitten by tax leads to the point you made, Mark, I think, where you just have to automate it, otherwise it just doesn't make sense as a service. And I think every MSP is trying to find profit centers, whatever they do, to generate money, right?
Very good. So I'll just jump back in. If your company is risk averse, and let's talk about long-term scalability and what is the strategy long-term. Many of these MSPs they're very hardworking, and they are working to grow their business. And they're working to grow their business, many with the idea that at some point in time down the road, they would like to sell their business. And if you've got open areas, or if you've got sort of sketchy tax histories or tax rolls, that leaves you open to a devaluation of your business in a hurry. And so by setting it up the right way, you can continue to work hard and do the things that you do best, while you let the professionals handle your billing, handle your PSA needs, and handle your tax platform. So great input, Tim and Mark. Thank you so much. Next question, and this is, I'm going to put the burden right back on Tim and Mark for this question. So looking forward to hearing your response. Datagate plus SureTax partnership. How does this integration remove recurring compliance headaches and give MSPs confidence to grow? I think I skipped ahead on you there. So that's probably more of a Datagate and a SureTax question. So I'll just jump in first here. The partnership, as Mark mentioned, we've been in partnership a long time. We have a tried and true integration. We are in contact monthly. We have cadence calls. We interact all the time. And there's great dialogue back and forth between our companies. And that really adds to that confidence level, because at the end of the day, we're working hand in hand to service our customers. And so this integration, it removes those compliance headaches, because it provides a great billing platform that offers all of the requirements from the truth in billing perspective. It offers great and reliable tax rates. It offers reporting. And at the end of the day, the IRS is one of Wolters Kluwer's largest customers. So if you're going to get your tax rates done, you might as well get them from the company that's working directly with the IRS. So Mark, I'll let you add, and then we'll back up to the question that I missed. Sorry about that.
Thank you, Shauna. You said it very well. And I have a saying, get your taxes right so you can sleep at night. Because really getting it not right, I mean, just think about an MSP, CSP business. They're billing every single month or regularly, presuming monthly, but often differently as well. But it means that that liability just keeps increasing if you get it wrong. So don't want mistakes to just keep on accumulating and one day have a horrible surprise. And I think, that's where I think the combination of systems we have here today is so great, because Wolters Kluwer does an excellent job of all the researching. There's, I don't know how many thousand, Shauna, you will know the number, but there's many, many thousands of jurisdictions in the United States that all have their own logic and their own tax collection formulas. And no matter where your customer is in the United States, that's going to determine all the tax rules that apply to that customer. And so without a solution like SureTax and Datagate and Halo, well, you're going to have a situation that's going to get very complicated very quickly. People, you sign up a customer, they may be in the same state as you one day. The next day they've moved, they've opened up a branch across the other side of the country, and there's a different state involved. So really, it's so important that you do all this correctly. And as Shauna said earlier, the best time to set this up is as early as possible. Do it in your business, because we've got growing businesses, and the longer you leave it, the harder it is to instigate a system change.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great insight, Mark. And just to tag onto that, last year alone, our research team tracked over 100,000 taxability changes in the U.S. So
wow,
it's a big job. So Tim, wanted to direct this next question right back to you and Mark, but Tim, if you'll jump in first. Many MSPs assume their PSA can handle billing end to end. Why does this assumption break down, especially when it comes to recurring telecom charges and taxes?
I would probably disagree. I think MSPs think that all the PSAs pretty much suck. There are only a couple options in the market, right? The two main ones, if you're at any sort of scale that you need to use, one begins with A, the other one begins with M. I'll let you decide what they're called. I think they're just the general assumption, right, is that you have to put on a bunch of band-aids to make it do what you need it to do. So I think, and there are other options on the market that are just all-in-ones that don't give you what you need to do what you do anyway. So it's like you kind of, I think your people are almost, they feel they're just like, if you're running an MSP, you just assume that you've just got to figure it out, right? So when you're hooking up for Office 365 licenses, if you've found yourself in the print industry, you have to work out usage. There is no magic bullet. And I think that is sort of, what reinforces what we talk about. Having such a specialized requirement, which has, especially in the US, if you're trying to get into telecom, you just want to take the money. You don't have to think about all the state tax. You don't have to think about having to work out the billing and all the different lines and the rentals and stuff like that and all the changes year to year that happens. You just want to be able to pick it up, turn it on, automate it, and take a check. That's all you kind of want. And you want to just spread across laterally all the services you want to provide to that customer, from managed services, AI implementation, consultancy, like compliance as a service, business applications, list that goes on. You want to get into print. You want to do telecom. You want to be able to offer everything, because it's an easy way to grow existing accounts and to generate revenue. But you don't want to have to lift to make it happen, right? So yeah, basically, I would probably argue that Halo, which is the newest option on the block, which is now, I would argue, especially over a couple of drinks, that has become the gold standard in the market. That basically, we partnered with the best of breed tools out there. And in my decade plus of doing this and working with a lot of teams now, over 2,500, the best results you see are when you take best of breed tools and just bolt them together, right? Seeing an alliance between best of breed vendors working tightly together, integrating tightly, is probably the most reassuring thing I can know as an MSP, because you're going to get into a scenario, all those vendors work together, you get something that works, and you can just flip a switch and get it going. So I think MSPs don't know when or probably assume that a PSA doesn't do what it needs to do. And I would probably argue that if you're getting into something specialized, print, CSP, telecom, I think the expectation is you're going to have to go get a decent vendor to make that happen. There is no magic bullet. I doubt there ever will be. And we're moving pretty hard. And it's just such a different skill set in a market we'll just never get into, right? So it's just way best to partner with best of breed tools. So yeah, that's kind of where the breakdown is. MSPs are stuck, and you're best just getting a bunch of vendors who work really well together. And that is the easiest way to step into a new vertical, a new service, and to automate it as best you can.
That's great. I agree, Tim. So the three companies, Datagate, Halo, and SureTax, hey, we are growth ready. We are ready to help you with your business, grow your business, and keep you productive and efficient and compliant at the same time. Great job. So we have a couple of questions left, but I want to deviate here from the plan just a little bit, if you don't mind. I want to ask a question here. We'll start with you, Tim and Mark. What's one automation win in PSA billing or tax that MSPs don't realize they can already put on repeat today?
It's a good question. What do you think, Mark? You want to go first?
Well, I can go first. Yeah, I've got a few here. So there's a lot of things actually. People should look into the software that you buy. I mean, Datagate. We always appear to be a very simple solution that people can use very quickly and easily. But actually, there's a lot of functionality built in here with years of experience. One of them is a cost recovery surcharge. I don't know. A lot of MSPs don't realize that they can put a surcharge on their invoice to claim back the cost of collecting and remitting the taxes. So that can include the cost of Datagate SureTax, tax compliance partner. It's a little trade secret there, and that mixes in with the taxes. So you have a tax section on the invoice, and you can put a line in there to charge back a recovery. So I'll put that one out there. How about you, Tim?
I think that's a very valid point, right? I think that almost demonstrates exactly why you want a specialized vendor, because that sort of thing could probably save you a few pennies over a year or two. But yeah, like for me, right? If I was an MSP and you're like, Tim, go start an MSP tomorrow, what is some stuff I would do? I was getting into telecom because my customers asked me to do it, and I want to do it because this is something we can offer and make a few, and when I first work with teams, they're a bit worried because it's complicated, maybe low margin, or they haven't found the right stuff they need. There's a couple of things that you can do to really help automate that. Firstly, we have 2 vendors here, bolt them into Halo, off you go to the races, flip a switch, and you've got new revenue. Talking about just a general one-win automation, find the right vendors that work with Halo, bolt them in, off you go. And that's the easiest way to capitalize on that new potential revenue that you're maybe concerned or haven't explored yet. Another one is in terms of automating is, you can do quite a bit to centralize billing back in Halo, because when I work with teams, they don't want to have to get all the CDRs and then have to manually figure that stuff out and then having to generate and deliver separate invoices. They want to centralize and deliver a single bill at the end of the month, which they can then brand and color and add insights for how they're adding value. That's been the biggest, the most mature setup I've seen for Halo customers. When they're able to deliver a single lovely branded invoice at the end of the month that explains exactly what they have, what they're using, and how it all comes to be. And I think, when you use a tightly integrated vendor like a Datagate, who works with other partners who can do a lot of really good automation and tax, that is something that is really valuable. And I don't think it's easy to understand or access unless you know. So here we are telling you, here it is. So that's my insight.
Yeah, absolutely. You touched on a really good point there. A lot of people don't realize that we give, Halo and Datagate, working together, we give the option that if they want to do their telecom invoice out of Halo with Datagate bolted on the side, we read Halo's agreements, so we can pick up all what's been agreed with the customer. We can generate all the telecom lines. We can, through our integration with SureTax, we can bring back all the telecom taxes, and then we can push it all back into Halo, and it can be billed from Halo. So then you get the very highly desired single invoice that covers everything. So there's a lot of ways that we work together. That's one particular configuration that we offer. This is just the high level of cooperation that happens between Datagate and Halo and CCH SureTax. We work together to deliver what our customers want. And actually, if I could squeeze one more in, because I did think of another one. If I could say to any MSPs out there that are not doing telecom, I would say that from my experience in Datagate, we work in a lot of countries around the world. I would say that I can see, and I know the big telecom companies are seeing, that MSPs are winning all of the telecom business around the world. Like, businesses prefer to buy their telecom from their MSP because their MSP's got a close relationship with the customer, much better than the big telecom companies. I won't name any, but they're all there. And the big telecom companies are coming to us. I mean, the three companies here, they're coming to us to partner with us because they can see the future happening. The future, of MSPs are rolling up telecom into their offerings. And so I would say anyone who's not doing it already, here's a big revenue opportunity for you. It's the future coming. And I would also say If you don't do it, you're at risk of somebody else doing it and offering telecom to your customers and taking those customers away. So sorry, I inserted that last one, Shauna.
No, that's great.
Hold it back. Thank you.
That's great. I want to just tag in real quick. So apologies. I want to just jump back in. You talked about the cost recovery fee, and that is just a huge tool that can be leveraged, and it's something that you can do to add revenue to your bottom line, but something that CCH SureTax, along with Datagate and Halo, can help with is a traffic study that will help bring down that tax obligation that you have. So it's an opportunity to leverage sort of the studying of your traffic. We can do a traffic study on that, and then we can do a custom implementation along with the Datagate folks into the customer's platform on those taxes to lower the taxes. And then what your customers see is basically a flat invoice, the amount that they've always seen. But what's happening on the background is you're paying less taxes, and more of that money is rolling to that cost recovery fee that goes directly to the MSP's bottom line. So that's a great tool. We'd love to help you with that too. So I have another question here. This is primarily looking at Datagate. This partnership that we all have, but I know that it's really seated in that deep partnership between Halo and Datagate, and then with SureTax having a long-term partnership with Datagate. How does this integration streamline the recurring service and billing workflows better than a PSA alone?
Oh, I'll go first. Sorry, Mark. Let's get into it, right? This is what I'm going to hear, and I wanted to share. So we've kind of talked about it a little bit, right? But MSPs are a company's technology advisor. They deliver technology to a company. The MSP game is hard, right? And every MSP I speak to, especially the really successful ones, they want to spread laterally on services, right? You get it, maybe doing managed services with break-fix IT, it grows into a contract. Maybe you start doing AI implementation or business application consultancy, but there's just way more stuff you can get into. You've seen the stuff with cloud marketplaces and how you can start reselling technology and getting margin. There's a huge one over here you're missing. It's called Telecom, and people who either don't know about it, here it is. If you do know about it and you're just concerned that it's just something you just don't want to get into, I'm here today to tell you, here it is, right? You can just bolt in Datagate into Halo, and you can just fully automate that thing, especially if you're in the US. It's a worldwide thing you can do, but in the US, where you have state-to-state tax, it becomes very mucky very quickly, and you're just there's other things I can be doing with my time. This is a very easy gateway into taking best-of-breed PSA that you're already probably using, and then you're just wanting to add another revenue stream. This is the quickest and the easiest way you can automate that. And this is how I'll let probably Mark talk specifically how the interaction works and what it means. But this is the wake-up call I wanted to give you, and the open door to allow you to get into this market, right?
Excellent. A great point there, Tim. Look, the extent of the integration between Datagate and Halo, for example, is that we had an MSP saying to us, "We're a Halo MSP. We run our business the Halo way." I think, well, that's really cool, and we don't want to upset that. So what we come in and we add the Telecom in, and we can plug in and read the agreements out of Halo. We can push information back into Halo for billing. In fact, what it very importantly means is that all the staff of the MSP don't have to learn another system if they're adding Datagate Telecom billing into the MSP. They still carry on using Halo as the single pane of glass. So they can see everything that's going on. So they can see the Datagate invoices. They can see all the contracts that have been agreed with the customer. So one place to go. Don't have to retrain all the staff, to use yet another application. No, just keep using Halo. So the reason we do that is because we listen to our customers. We do things the way they want to do. They still, you can still run Datagate on its own, if anyone wants to, and some people do, and they just plug it into their QuickBooks or Xero system. But if you're using a PSA system, that's the way you run your business. We hear that, we understand, and we become an extension of that PSA. We become an extension of Halo, and it all works nicely like one big machine, and there's no rekeying of things, and it's a nice world. Thank you.
Yeah, reach out, right? If you want to speak to Halo Datagate customers, you want to understand how they're doing it, just reach out. Let's have a conversation, really.
Yeah.
I love that, and I love that saying, the Halo way. Hey, great job. So one more question here, and then we'll wrap up. But looking ahead, if you had a crystal ball, if you're looking ahead, what changes, regulatory, technologically, or client-driven, will create new reoccurring workflows for MSPs, and how should they prepare to automate them? I'll just go first because my answer is very short. Preparing to automate is you want to work with Datagate. You want to get plugged into SureTax, because the one thing that is sure is that tax changes are imminent and they are continuous. And so our tax researchers make sure that we're up to date. We take that off your plate. You don't have to think about that piece, but that's my short answer. But there's so much great information here. Mark and Tim, how do you respond to that question?
Well, if I jump in now, obviously automation, we're seeing artificial intelligence, and people are expecting more and more and more out of their software. And so this is the path forward for us is building expertise into the billing system. I know that us, like many software companies, we're really testing all the boundaries of what can be done to further automate, to further save our customers from having to do more work. We see that MSPs are winning all the telecom business around the world, so they're going to get busier. They're going to have more and more business to be billing, and they need more and more automation, and they need smart systems that can answer questions quickly. So we're looking at expertise online using artificial intelligence, and of course our great worldwide support team that we have, the Datagate 24/7 support that we offer. So yeah, it's an exciting world going forward. And on that note, I'll hand it over to Tim.
So if you said to me, Tim, it's 2026, what's next? Go and start an MSP. What would I focus on? So I personally feel like the AI ship has kind of sailed. There's not really space for MSPs to find growth services such as, let's do AI implementation. I feel like there's a few players in that space, and I think it's a harder, more saturated market to get into. I'd probably, the two main ones that I'm seeing from mature MSPs that are that one-stop shop, right, that have got a lot of other things going on already, will probably be BA, business applications, and also compliance as a service. There's a lot of compliance coming in right now between CMMC, FedRAMP, and other things, and that's a good opportunity to take your customers on a sort of a journey, right? And that they would be the sort of the services that I would highlight that you should be looking at if you aren't looking at already. But I'd also argue that there's a very wide lateral selection of services that MSP offer, and I'd probably argue, and I would expect a vast majority of all the teams that I work with every year, north of a couple hundred, there is probably a couple that you haven't explored that you probably should have explored. So in a very, in a landscape of high-end services, stuff that's on the horizon, I would argue there's probably stuff right in front of you that you haven't actually already taken a look at or taken the time to put in place. As we're all technology geeks, right? We all get excited by the new shiny thing that's coming over the horizon, when it's probably basic stuff that you could probably automate tomorrow and offer out and roll out and probably actually get a bigger ROI. And there's a bunch of those. Halo's been doing some weird stuff recently, where we've been actually helping automate print, which is also another usage-based billing thing, which is a huge cash cow for MSPs, especially in the US, which will be coming in the middle of next year. But I would also argue Telecom, right? Lots of companies you work with all have Telecom. That's a contract you can easily go and win, and you can flip a switch with a couple of great tightly integrated vendors right here and just go and create some revenue tomorrow. So growth markets, there are obvious low-hanging fruit targets. I would argue that you can just go and automate with some relative ease before trying to penetrate a brand new shiny market, which hasn't really got a lot of traction just yet. That would be stuff that I'd be looking at. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing in the marketplace today.
Oh, wow. Such great content today. Mark, Tim, thank you so much for for getting together with us and doing this Q&A. I think it's been echoed throughout the whole event that MSP, that market is growing. It's extremely valuable. They are valuable to their customers. And this great partnership that we have between Datagate and Halo, we're set to help put in motion that growth that you set out to deliver on. So the call to action today, if you've listened to this, if there's any information that you'd like to gather, or if you would like to ask some questions, we would love to talk to you. There's contact information that's located in the speaker panel. You can reach out to Tim, to Mark, to myself, or you can put questions in the question box, and we would love to speak with you. Thank you again for joining us today. Mark, Tim, thank you so much. Thank you to everybody that listened. We look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day.
Thank you all.